Call this meeting of the May 11th Board of Trustees meeting to order. And we'll begin with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Whalen.
Here.
Officiating.
Here.
Eddie here. Campbell.
Here.
Waldy.
That's all right.
Microphone's on.
We're good. We're good.
Approval of agenda. We need to amend. For road commission contract and transparency resolution.
Are those going to be new business or old business?
I would say they can both go under new old business.
Old business.
So was that a motion to add those items in? Okay. So, do we second? Of course not. All right.
Okay, with no second, motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, roll call, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you made the motion now?
To approve? Nobody's amending, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Before the meeting, you had said that you thought the plan was to create the amendment for the road commission. Okay. Public comment, agenda items only.
I got it. Oh, okay. Yes. Good evening. My name is Justin Enfield. I'm at 201 Mabel. I'm here tonight to voice my strong support for the Village Mixed Use District recommendation. My wife and I are raising our family here, and we want to see Kakalan continue to be a place where families can invest and grow for the long term. We believe this proposal is a common sense update that replaces an outdated patchwork system with clear, consistent foundation for our community's future. It provides the stability that both homeowners and local businesses need. I want to thank the Planning Commission for their hard work on this, and I urge the board to approve the recommendation tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Enfield, Justin's wife. This is Zuri, and we've got two of our kids over there too. We do homeschool the kiddos, and part of what we want to teach them and raise them to do is proper civic involvement and local governance. So we really appreciate all of the work in the zoning discussions that have been put forward so far, and we really wanted to bring them and voice our support for the Village Mixed Use District. Since moving here several months ago, we've had lots and lots of discussions about general property use and maintenance and even practical upgrades with our neighbors, some of whom are here tonight. And it seems like the current existing ordinances have a few gaps and unclear sections that has made things a little inconsistent and confusing between us neighbors. And even when all of us are putting forth like a lot of effort and hard work to be good neighbors and avoid nuisances to each other through communication and cooperation, just that inconsistency alone can make things really confusing. So I think the mixed use update is gonna be incredibly useful and practical for everybody that's involved, honestly. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Jeremy Bloom, 2110 Fraser Road. So I'd like to reference new business item A, Planning Commission. As the vice chair of Planning Commission, we worked on this in a special meeting and, well, actually 2 special meetings. I urge for it to be passed. Notice a lot of discrepancies. First of all, a house at 2627 Old Beaver Road, it's on 1.192 acres. It has an enormous pole barn, 2 stories. Somehow it passed through our ZBA. And this is where it lies. Our ZBA's responsibilities, there's 5 things that they gotta meet to meet a variance. Don't think they're being met. Our ZBA is meeting way too much. It's costing our township lots of money. I believe our variances are only a $100 application fee. That more? 200? So it doesn't cover the costs of what's going on. We're writing these variances for many different things. There's a practical, so there's five things, like I was saying. There are practical considerations regarding the property that not allow the building or structure to be erected without causing an excessive burden to the development of the property. Number 2, the condition or situation of the property is unique and not shared by neighboring properties in the same zone. Amending the ordinance tax rezoning is not a reasonable solution. Number 3, a variance should be significantly detrimental to, would not be significantly detrimental to an adjacent property and surrounding neighborhood. Number 4, the practical difficulty was not created by an action of the applicant and either existed at the time of adoption of a requirement from the variance is requested or is necessary as a result of government action such as road widening. And number 5, the variance is minimum necessary to permit reasonable use of the land and buildings. I urge for the 4 of you and 5th, if you was here, to go down and look at that building. The neighbors directly to the south cannot use their hot tub because the 2nd-story window in a pole barn overlooks their hot tub now. Recent water has infiltrated from the neighbor's yard into that yard. The pole barn is in front of the house. I plan on doing some digging to find out how the variance was approved, but our ZBA, in my opinion, has not done their due diligence on these. So with our new proposed amendments, will help the ZBA in meetings. They are all within normal considerations with other townships as far as square footages go for accessory buildings, the number of accessory buildings allowed. If we start traveling the township, there's a lot of people that are in non-compliance. It would help bring a lot of these residents into compliance. That's it for this public input. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mark Cookenmaster and my wife Sandy. We live at 209 South 2nd. We also own adjacent property at 305 2nd Street. We're longtime residents. We've been there for pushing 30 years now. I just want to voice my approval of the proposed mixed-use agreement. Just want to be heard. Thank you.
Public comment? Public comment? Public comment? Public comment closed. Department committee reports, fire department report.
That's me. One thing's on the new stuff, so I'll skip that. You referenced the 2 full-time people. For those of you that don't know, the township board approved me to hire 2 full-time people. which will give me a total of 3, which will make our staffing at 24/7 easier and cut my hours down from 132 every 2 weeks to 40 hours a week, which is awesome. With that being said, I would just like the people here to know, and the township to know, what a huge step this is as far as public safety goes. So regardless of where we're at with things and how people think, I will tell you this, we sat long and hard, I had long talks with everybody on the board for this, and they agree that this is the best way to go. This is something we've been working towards for the last 5 years because we knew it was gonna get here. So to take this step and move this step is nothing short of, for lack of a better word, awesome and excellent. It definitely does a lot for this township for coverage and to make sure that we have the proper coverage for this township and we don't lack in anywhere. Not that we're lacking now, it's just a lot of us are putting in a lot of hours to make sure things are taken care of. This will definitely take a lot of burden off a few of us. And like I said, it's a giant step forward. It's something we can build off from here. So kudos to the board and thank you for allowing me and approving this. This is, like I said, this is a pretty big deal. So one thing I can tell you with the board that we have here is, regardless of everything else, the 5 of them do agree on one thing, and that's public safety. I never have an issue with a single one of them if I sit down and explain to them what I need and why we need it, that there's ever any fight or argument with any of it. And they have been pushing for this, and this was brought up long before I brought it up. Trustee Whalen brought it up shortly after he was elected, that we need to do something about staffing, as well as the rest of the board. So this board, when it comes down to the fire department, I never have any issues with them or worry about it. If we need it or want it and I can provide that we need to have it, I never have an issue with getting anything that we need. With that said, I ended up with 22 resumes, which was entirely more than I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining one single bit. We have narrowed it down to 3 people. We will do interviews on Wednesday. We have 3 people to interview. I have my 2 officers and 2 senior firefighters sitting on the board to do the questions. We have a list of questions. I will just sit and simply watch, and after that we will decide who we hire. I hope to have them up and running by June. It might be a little lofty goal for me. One of them is an internal hire who is sitting here. Sean Burke is going to be one of our new full-time people. Sean has been with us 5 years, 3 years? 3 years. So Sean will be one, so he will be an easy train. The next one out of the 3 is just a matter of teaching roads, pumps, and how things go. But it's a pretty exciting time for us at the fire department of the township. Hose testing, it was completed last week. We lost a total of 2 sections of 2.5, 1 section 1.5 inches, and I think 2 sections of 5 inch, which with almost 9,000 feet of hose, that's pretty good. So I did get some bids to get new stuff. I'll get a couple more, and then from there we'll just replace what we lost. Shouldn't be a big deal. DNR 50/50 grants are out. I just need to determine what we're going to get yet. So it's either going to be a couple more radios or some new gloves for everybody and whatever else I can tack on there. The apparatus bay lighting is complete. That was complete last week, the 6th of May. It's super bright in there now, so it's absolutely wonderful. So thank you, board, for getting that done. And the state of Michigan just came out with a $50,000 grant, up to $50,000 grant. They have $8 million, $4 million of it's going to go to local governments and fire departments for gear and whatnot. So I wrote that today and sent that in. Currently we're looking at an airboat that we tried out on Saturday. What most of you don't know, our current Coast Guard station is a 40-hour-a-week station and is unreliable at the best. So every ice rescue that happened this year was through the Sheriff's Department and their boat, which the Sheriff's Department does a great job, but they're an hour away before we can get them here. So this boat is perfect for what we need. I'll get as much literature as I can on it, but it definitely is something that we can replace our other boat with, and I think will serve us well. Frankenmuth Fire Department was there yesterday, and they showed up with cash in hand today to buy one. So, yeah. Other than that, that is it. The Aflac stuff is in the new business, so I'll explain that. I've researched that and got numbers on that for our new hires until we can figure out some different health insurance. Something we don't want to jump into is health insurance right away off the bat. As much as we want to get health insurance to our full-time people, I want it to be economical and I want it to be the best coverage we can get for the people that we have here. So to start out, we will start out with some Aflac coverage, which I went through and got numbers, which is very reasonable and should be good. So when we get to that part of the meeting, should be all set. Other than that, we're good. Yes, sir.
The pay resolution for you did that?
Haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it?
No. I mean, I seen it, that it was wrote, but I didn't see it on the agenda anywhere. so.
Megan, do you have the pay resolution that we created for the fire chief?
I may have to dig for it on my computer, but I can go look for it if you need it right now.
I don't think we can do anything with it right now, but I just wanted to,
Yeah, I was gonna ask that whole business, but.
okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was still on the agenda.
Sheriff's report.
Hundred and 66 stops. Or calls, we'll say. Traffic stops.
Parks and Rec report, or anybody got any questions on Sheriff's report? No?
No.
Okay, Parks and Rec, met on Monday, May 4th, and discussed several upcoming events, park improvement ideas, and volunteer opportunities for the community. Upcoming community event, the committee noted that the Diamonds for Mom softball tournament will take place May 9th through the 10th at the park. The tournament is expected to host approximately 37 teams. The committee encourages community members to attend and support the event and requested promotion through the township Facebook page and other communication channels. Then it came into the pickleball court recommendation. The committee recommended purchasing a pickleball net conversion strap, estimated at approximately $70 to $80 to allow one of the existing tennis courts to better accommodate pickleball play. The courts already contain both tennis and pickleball lines, and this would provide a low-cost improvement for recreational use. Invest in your community volunteer day proposal. The committee proposed organizing an Invest in your community volunteer work day, potentially in coordination with the River Dogs cleanup event planned for June. Suggested volunteer projects include spreading of mulch and weeding playground areas, repairing horseshoe pits, replacing boards and adding sand, painting the pavilion and picnic tables, tree trimming, and general grounds cleanup, trash pickup and weed removal throughout the park. The committee requests board feedback regarding support for the event and project priorities. Some supplies and materials would likely be needed to complete the work. Additional park improvement suggestions. The committee also discussed several long-term park improvement ideas for board consideration, including replacing missing swings on the swing set and exploring the possibility of adding a handicap accessible swing or other inclusive playground feature. Installing nets on the soccer goals currently stored at the parking lot and relocate the goals into the grass and playing area. Establishing a temporary marked walking path with distance markers as an initial step towards a future permanent walking trail. Develop a park map highlighting available amenities such as horseshoe pits, courts, playgrounds, and other recreational features. The committee expressed willingness to assist with planning and implementation of these projects as directed by the board. I appreciate the Parks and Rec Committee's continued work and the community involvement, and I look forward to further discussion with the board on these items.
The missing swing, the S-hooks on the swings are dangerous. And the current swings that are there need to have those S-hooks and those chains all checked. Because that was when Scott and Kelly did the playground, and they were dangerous at that time. That's,
He told me something about that.
yeah. So before we go hanging another swing up there, make sure that the S-hooks have been replaced so we don't have a kid fall into the ground, breaking a rib, and then we have major liability issues.
And what about the pickleball recommendation for straps?
Straps in the center to hold the nets closer to the bottom.
That's what was talked about by some people who play pickleball. I've never played pickleball, I don't know anything.
What we found going on with our pickleball courts is people actually release the net so it hangs closer down, and that costs zero. That's what the people that play pickleball have done. They adjust them, they're right where they need them, versus a strap holding it down just in the very center. When you turn the crank, double cranks, and it goes just like that, which produces the same effects.
Well, we had some difficulty with the net last year, where we had to,
They had to replace the cable.
so, I don't know how old the net is, offhand, do you remember, last time we done the net there?
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I mean, and what would the price be for a pickleball net to replace it, rather than converting, I'm just curious, I mean, we don't have those figures.
Well, you'd have to do.
They're only gonna convert one and make it so they could go back to it.
Cause I don't know that anybody's using it for tennis anymore.
I've seen people using it for tennis last week. but-
I know I went back there, I've seen the net just like that, and that's what the people who play pickleball do. They loosen it 2 notches so that they hang a little bit lower in the center.
Let's look into the quality of the nets and the, if they need
Yeah.
repair, and then we go from there.
And what do you guys think then about repairing the horseshoe pits that have boards, aged and falling apart?
And that's, part of this cleanup day in June, is there a
Yeah.
suggested date for that?
I do not know the exact date. I think Hans may be here later.
Well, it's not it's not included in the agenda anyhow, so I guess it would have to be later in June then. We'll have to work it around, other rentals of the grounds and hall as well. So I think that would be part of that discussion.
Yeah, we can
Meeting
get
in
the
June
supplies
early.
needed to repair it by then. I can see if I can get some prices on the pickleball nets for the straps. And then
And,
check out the boards.
2 soccer nets, 2 please.
Those were authorized. Those were authorized and never purchased last year.
And you purchased 2 of them last year.
I purchased 1 set of nets, the other one was told to me that they'd be ordered under the township's Amazon account. It never happened.
Yeah.
we can get them by the June cleanup, so we have the stuff to do for people.
There are quite a few rentals, I believe, in June.
Yeah,
Seems like
a lot of
it's
members.
like every weekend, pretty much, from what I recall.
Okay, building report.
There's actually 2 March numbers there.
So there's 12 new building permits, 2 new plumbing permits, 8 electrical permits, and 2 mechanicals. Does anybody have any questions on the building report?
Make a motion to accept the building permit, building report.
We have one more report. Zoning and building administrators report.
We normally accepted these individually.
No,
All
They can be
together, I
approved.
told past meetings.
Hello, sir.
I'm not giving a building inspector's report because I'm not the building inspector, I'm the zoning inspector, so.
I know that.
Took many calls from citizens to answer questions, figure about 5 calls per day, be like 125 in a month. It's kind of weird, it appears every time someone calls the township office, the zoning administrator's cell phone rings. Huge distraction. No choice but to let it go to voicemail rather than pick it up. I tried to call I called the office to talk to Rebecca or Megan today, and I'm on the zoning administrator phone, and I dial it, and the phone rang here, but it also rang on the zoning administrator phone. it'll like ring 1 or 2 times and then quit. So I have no choice but to wait for a voicemail on that. Just want to advise you of it. Issued a total of 8 zoning permits. There's one that's still pending. I have an individual that is combining 2 lots and must do so in order to meet the setback requirements. I believe he's meeting with the assessor on Thursday. I did deny 3 of them, in doing so, I did draft explanation reports for each of them as the ZBA it's going to go in front of them as the variances are being requested by those residences. I'm aware of 2 requests for variances that I never saw, they didn't go through me, but apparently they're going before the planning commission or one of them is going through the planning commission. I don't know what happened with the other one. And there's a special use permit that was attached to a map on the zoning administrator's desk, and it's missing. I don't know where the application went. The maps or drawings are still there, but the application is gone. I did request additional fees for a commercial site plan review. They were only charged for a residential site plan review, and the difference is $450. So I spoke to the individual, and they came in and paid the difference. I worked with Dade County Equalization to get tax maps for Linwood and Brissett beaches, basically just to determine what the lot sizes are. In the course of doing so, I discovered a vacated road. It shows it on the tax map. It still shows the road, or it's actually the former railroad easement as still being there on the GIS. So it has been vacated, as near as we can tell, but it has not been removed from any of the maps or the GIS. So that information has been forwarded to the assessor for the assessor's review, and the assessor has the ability and authority to remove that and adjust the property descriptions accordingly. Of the 20 alleged violation addresses that I inspected, there were 20 different places that I went and inspected and re-inspected, as it were. 7 were observed to have no violations. I have several reports to that effect still to complete. 13 addresses were sent notices by certified mail. 5, and this is really the good news, this pleases me greatly, 5 of them just complied. They realized they had issues, and they cleaned up their act, so to speak. So I actually sent letters to each of them thanking them for complying with the ordinance. We appreciate that. 4 of them were returned by the Postal Service as undelivered. I revised those letters, and they were delivered last weekend by the sheriff's deputy, hand-delivered them. 4 were found to be non-compliant as recently today. Reports have been drafted, and I have a packet ready for the township attorney to pass it along to him. In the event the board approves the legal expenses that is later on the agenda associated with the issuance of civil infraction citation. It's the next step in the process, but to issue those citations is going to involve follow-up on Mr. Cunningham's part, and I don't have the authority to spend your money on him. So that's on your agenda for later. Both compliance and non-compliance for everything was documented with photos, and everything's followed up. Even if they were found to be in compliant, there's going to be a report put in their file that says they were found to be in compliant. Some of the stuff is still pending. If they complied, there's going to be information to reflect that in their file as well. Did a lot of research on placement of modular homes in the township. I had a particular citizen that was inquiring about it. Got quite an education on the difference between mobile homes, manufactured home, modular home, etc., and ultimately was able to help him out. But I have yet to receive his zoning permit application, so I don't know if he's just kicking tires. He sounded pretty ready to go. Did attend the April 16th Planning Commission. Assisted Mr. Hamilton, who's here in the hallway today, in drafting a tall grass and weeds ordinance. I believe there was a recommendation of the Planning Commission for y'all on that. It is definitely needed. You don't have a tall grass and weeds ordinance. You have a noxious weeds ordinance, which doesn't allow you to take action if somebody's grass gets too long, which is really the intent. And so this wouldn't necessarily repeal that noxious weed, but in addition to it, it would allow the township to react to violations and so on. Also worked with Kibbe and Associates and Lapham on the commercial site plan review for the proposed Marathon gas station. There have been several revisions of the plans requiring it forwarding to the powers that be. So that is my report. Are there any questions for me?
Can you explain the beach situation with what you found at the railroad? Where would that line be that you're talking about, the assessor?
So, and you can look right on the GIS, it's there as a red line. But, and I was trying to explain this to Mr. Hamilton earlier today. If you take Parrish Road and it turns right onto Brissette Beach, that portion of Brissette Beach Road is to the west of all of the beachfront properties and their associated garage properties, right? You go down, I'm gonna guess about a dozen lots, and you make a hard left and turn right again as Brissette Beach Road continues. That is the former railroad grade. If you follow that railroad grade back north, it literally cuts between people's yards and driveways and the whole thing. As a zoning administrator, I'm going to look at it, well, how can you got to be 4 foot from the railroad easement, or your setback has to be from the railroad easement because your garage lot doesn't count. The residents do not have the ability to combine those lots as should be because there's still a plotted easement there that's been vacated but never removed. So it's in that portion of Francher Avenue, is what it was called back in the day, where Brissette Beach Road is west of all the parcels. It's that section. And really the appropriate thing, assuming the assessor agrees with all this, a very lovely lady, Jennifer DeLong, was very helpful at the equalization because I wasn't expecting to find what I found. I was just looking at lot sizes. And we discovered this, she agreed. So the appropriate course of action for the assessor, if he agrees with all this, would be to basically change the maps and then rewrite the legal description for both sides so that the property owner on either side now owns to the middle of the vacated street, at which point, if they chose to, they could combine the lots. And and I assume that in the course of the assessor going through and changing those descriptions and everything, they will reassess, and now they're both bigger lots, so more tax base, right?
There'd be many thumbs up with that.
Right.
That's why all the hydrants sit by everybody's garage. The history on that is when the railroad bailed out, they offered all that property to the beach people. The beach people bought it, and then somebody took it upon themselves to get rid of that road from right at the public launch to the north, going north. Used to be a road run through there. They took it upon themselves, or somebody allowed them to do it, and they got rid of the road. That's why I have 2 hydrants that sit right next to everybody's garage. Because there used to be a road that dead ended to the left when you went. If you get to the public beach and you hang a right this way, if you hang a left, there used to be a road ran right down there to the end and it dead end.
That shows on the tax map that's being vacated also, but it still shows on the map and the GIS, so.
But somehow when they bought all that property, they just decided that whoever owned them houses, they didn't want a road there anymore, and they just put their garages and grass there, and that's how they left it.
A little before my time.
Oh, I know it's before your time, but I mean, Brissette Beach is just my nightmare, so.
And I hope that either myself or Mr. Hamilton gets a chance to get with you, because we're gonna be trying to figure out what the setbacks need to be for both Linwood and Brissette Beach.
Yeah, I mean.
Because it does not, it doesn't fit what the ordinance says. In one place in the ordinance, it's lumped in with R1. In one place in the ordinance, for example, it says you need to have an 80-foot front yard setback, or front yard width. In another place it says 100, and they're talking about the exact same zoning district. And there's a bunch of them out there that are 50, so it just doesn't fit, and it definitely needs to be revised. So I would encourage that as soon as possible.
Just a quick question, what was the mechanism that vacated it? Did you find that, was it a resolution from the board, or was there a court order or anything like that in there?
All I know, Mr. Cunningham, is I'm looking at this map and I'm trying to figure out the dimensions of all these parcels, and it says Franchette Ave vacated. And then it's something else at the northern street that,
That would have been Brissette Beach Road, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brissette Beach Road continued and dead ended there. But
No, there's another name for it. It's like,
Well, it was Brissette Beach Road, and I grew up on it because Smith was at the end, and it was a road right there, and that's why,
So-
if you go and look where the hydrants are, that's where the actual street used to be.
gotcha. I just discovered all this late last week, and basically, I haven't had any chance to do any research. I assume that's something that the assessor would be doing in conjunction with you, of course. I mean, you're gonna get involved in that too, I'm sure.
Yep, I didn't know how far along you were, just wanted to bring it up. So if the board
Okay.
finds it appropriate, we're happy to look into it, but, yeah.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for me?
The blight situations, you feel that everybody moved along pretty good, the ones that,
I was really pleased at the ones that complied. This process is very difficult because these are people. And in many cases, their situation is a hardship. And I got a call from Bob as I'm driving here tonight. He's trying, but I went by all of them that were non-compliant when we checked and photographed, just to confirm that they still were as of today, and they still are, including Bob. And you have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And so if you don't, then they'll clean it up a little bit for a minute and then it comes back. I know the township has seen that happen before. And other people, the word gets out, well, there's no teeth in it, they ain't gonna do anything anyway, and that's the worst thing that you could have for compliance. So I'm very, very hopeful that they will increasingly feel the heat and comply in every way, and that the township will be in a position to withdraw whatever is filed in court, 74th District Court by Mr. Cunningham.
yeah, Bob brought a whole bunch of, a trailer load of scrap when he voted the other day. I was happy to see, you could tell he's trying.
He is trying, and
But Brian
there's
Whalen tried helping him, Steve Gray and him both went over there multiple times, trying to give him a boost. And if he needed, they were willing to cut up his firewood, move his stuff around, but.
I sent a guy from church to him that I go to church with that is a scrapper, and hey, if you can help the guy out. At that time, and my friend showed up trying to help him, and he wasn't ready to get rid of anything. He was just kind of moving it around to make it prettier, and he's worried about
he
how the
tightens
front
it
looks.
up.
Yeah,
When we first met him, you couldn't even pull in the driveway.
well, it's better.
Yeah.
Some of the unlicensed vehicles are gone. He's troubled with the motorhome because his it's in his wife's name. He has to go through probate. She's dead. And another vehicle in the back was supposed to be picked up. The guy didn't show up to pick it up, and that's not our responsibility. I think we just keep moving forward. And if he complies somewhere in the mix of thing before the judge renders a decision and stuff like that, we can simply withdraw.
Correct,
that
yeah.
at some point, right?
Yep, it's called nollying a case. You can file it to one form. It's easy to dismiss it.
Okay, I hope that happens with all the ones that we're going after. Even the one on Huron Road with the dumpster out front, we're all familiar with that. They're trying. There was a camper. The whole back end of it was smashed. I have pictures on my phone and in the report. And that did go away. So efforts are being made, but unfortunately not in the time frame that they were given.
We appreciate your services here at Calhoun Township. I know you're going to be out on the lake for the summer, so enjoy.
It's been my privilege. Thank you all.
Patty.
Motion to approve department and committee reports.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Treasurer's report? payments out to some of, I seen Sequin and Wozni, were them old meetings that got founded.
Those
For March.
actually, yes, they never cashed the checks, so, I will be voiding several of those,
Okay.
now that we've hit the,
That's the only
now
thing
that's
I
enough
see.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. They're over 6 months old.
Yep.
Okay, motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Supervisor's report. I would like to begin by discussing the MTA conference that I attended April 20th through 23rd, with Monday, April 20th being the first day of the conference. The conference began Monday morning with a full class from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. titled Mapping the Money, Strengthening and Streamlining Financial Oversight, presented by Manor Custarian. The session focused on improving township financial accountability, internal controls, transparency, and long-term budgeting practices. Additional conference sessions included, does the township need to act? Hot legal topics facing the township in 2026. This was presented by Mike Homier of Foster Swift, which covered emerging legal issues and policy concerns townships may face in the coming year. The Perfectly Imperfect Leader, presented by Shayna Ling, focused on leadership, development, communication, and importance of adaptability and teamwork in local government. Budget Like a Pro, presented by Manor Custarian, discussing practical budgeting tools, forecasting, and long-term financial planning. Zoning strategies and affordable housing, put on by our present township attorney, Trent Cunningham. It was awesome. Covering zoning tools and planning strategies communities may use to address housing needs while maintaining local control. Managing civil rights complaints, presented by Lizzie Mills of Fahey Schultz also, which focused on proper procedures, documentation, and compliance responsibilities for municipalities. One of the most favorable parts of the conference was the opportunity to network and meet hundreds of officials from townships similar to ours. It provided a great opportunity to exchange ideas, discuss common challenges, and learn the experience of other communities. Another important topic is the Tobico Marsh Regional Drainage and Coastal Resiliency Culvert Project. This project concept was developed jointly with Eagle and Bangor Township and some engineers at an MCOT conference to address chronic flooding with the Tobico Marsh system caused by multiple regional drains converging into one area. We in Calcallan Township have 5 drains that drain into that county drains. The proposed concept would create a controlled outlet between Tobico Marsh and Saginaw Bay to reduce hydraulic pressure, improve drainage, and restore more natural water movement. This project aligns with the Michigan Coastal Management Program grant priorities because it focuses on coastal hazard mitigation, flood reduction, habitat restoration, nature-based infrastructure solutions, and regional resiliency planning. The grant program supports feasibility studies, engineering, design, and low-cost construction projects intended to reduce flooding and improve coastal resiliency. At this time, the project remains in conceptual and feasibility stage with future work including engineering analysis, environmental review, and identification of funding opportunities. That's all been, I asked Eagle if we needed any board approval, anything. They said absolutely not, this is just an idea. Regarding FEMA violations, the final notice has now been issued. Since that time, multiple violations have been corrected, and the remaining items will be considered in progress. We expect to have a more complete and final number available in the next couple of months. I also attended a recent planning commission meeting and witnessed productive conversation between commission members along with thoughtful recommendations being prepared for the township board. I was encouraged to see positive discussion and engagement regarding township planning matters. Last Wednesday, I attended a property transfer class held at the City of Bay City building. The class was extremely informative regarding property transfers, procedural, legal requirements, and local process. I scanned the email packet and materials I received to the board members for reference. This was an exceptionally informative class due to dealing with estates and trusts and many different ways that properties are transferred and the steps taken to complete it correctly. It was also discovered on April 27, 2026, that Jocelyn Jamrod was no longer serving as our township Facebook manager. In an email, it was stated that management responsibilities had been turned over to the deputy clerk. Since then, I requested the deputy clerk post several township items. The transition has gone smoothly so far. Lastly, the final road estimates have been received. The paving projects total $208,844.07, while chip and seal projects would total $77,541, bringing the overall total close to our road budget. While slightly over budget, I believe this represents a strong investment and a great use of taxpayer dollars by improving multiple roads throughout the township. Thank you.
Motion to approve supervisor's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills. Payroll.
It's right here.
Did everything go good as far as electronic transfers and stuff?
Yep, no complaints at all.
Great.
I see that.
Motion to accept payroll.
Second. Roll call. Wayman.
Yes, sir.
DeShano.
Yes.
Eddie, yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Invoices.
Make the motion to accept the invoices. There's one that ended up on there. The number is off by $20.
Are you talking about that one that got put in as a reimbursement that's actually on the credit card?
Yeah, but in the very end, the amount would have been $71,377.18 versus $71,397.18.
Do you remember which one it was that you found?
I found
The discrepancy.
the discrepancy, the reference number is 13908, and it was a gas receipt.
Oh, but that's the reimbursement that was on the credit card, so,
Yes.
yeah. In addition to that, I was working with Megan today for the John Hancock payment. There's a little bit of streamlining on that. After having a conversation with the clerk about that, we do need to have an allowable amount of 12.5 on that. So I don't think it'll be that high, but just to allow a little bit of wiggle room as we figure out the difference, because there's some transferring that needs to take place on that.
So you're saying John Hancock could
I,
just Manulife,
yeah, with all those changes.
so we'd be adding 12,005.
Yes, that is correct. And I don't think it would be that high, that just gives us a little wiggle room as we figure out, no, we looked into it today.
So adding 12,500 to those invoices.
And I'd like to just recommend an amendment to the motion. I think it would be best for the minutes to clarify that it is in fact to pay those and not just to accept them, and also that those changes be reflected in the motion as well.